GOP side joins me now live. Great to have you back on the show, Senator. So what do you make of the so-called, chaos or whatever is going on in the House today?
I don't think I'd call it chaos, but I would say that the grassroots and conservatives across the country are unhappy with Congress because they don't think that a Republican-controlled House and a Republican-controlled Senate are doing enough to exert the power of the purse or push back against the president. And I think that's what this represents, is that people in the House are saying, enough's enough, we want something new.
Yeah. So I know that you have lobbied for the fact that you believe there should actually be term limits for Speaker of the House. Tell me more about that.
Well, I'm for term limits of all members of the House as well as members of the Senate. I would limit the Senate to 2 6-year terms and the House to 6 2-year terms, and I think that that would give us more turnover. Right now, we do have term limits for chairmanships in the House and in the Senate. I think it wouldn't be a bad idea to have term limits for all leadership positions.
So one of your competitors, Governor Mike Huckabee, just put this out, this statement about what happened. He said the race for Speaker of the House is not about Kevin McCarthy. It's about burning the corrupt Washington political machine to the ground. Would you agree with that?
Well, my motto is unleash the American dream, defeat the Washington machine. So I'm in the same vein. I'm just not, I guess, for burning it. But I am for defeating the Washington machine. And I do think that this is the main thing that I hear when I talk to Republicans and conservatives, is they don't think we're doing enough, that the power of the purse is ours, but we sort of preemptively admit defeat, and we just say, oh, we don't have the votes to defund anything. When in reality, if we were to let spending expire, the other side would have to get 60 votes to spend any money, and then the power would be on our side. But we're sort of afraid to get to that point.
Yeah. And
I think that the problems we face are so great that we should let all spending expire and tell Democrats and big spenders, you have to get 60 votes to restart any spending.
I remember you had that argument last week, and you were on The Real Story right after you had that argument on the Senate floor. And at that time, I asked you, should Mitch McConnell be worried about anything? And you said you weren't sure, or I don't remember exactly how you answered it, but I'm going to ask you now again today, in light of what's happening over in the House, should Mitch McConnell be worried? Because off camera, Congressman Tim Huelskamp said this: Mitch McConnell should be shaking in his boots. What do you think?
I think my perspective would be a little bit different. I would say that every elected congressman and every elected senator should be very aware that the grassroots is unhappy. They're very upset that official Washington does not appear to be standing up and using the full force of our office. They wonder why they expended so much effort to elect conservatives, and then it turns out we're not using our full force. We have both the Senate and the House. There is no excuse for us not to stand up to the president and say, enough's enough. We're not spending any more money on these wasteful and offensive programs. But there doesn't seem to be that will or that courage in Washington. But I'm advocating for everyone to stand up and say, well, let it all expire. Let's stop the spending.
Okay.
And let's tell the other side they need 60 votes to restart it.
Well, maybe it started today. I'm not sure. Before I let you go, Hillary Clinton sends her GOP rivals like you a copy of her book, Hard Choices, as a reminder of her accomplishments as Secretary of State. Well, Senator, you are now auctioning off the copy that you received, billing it as, quote, a great fiction book. Why?
Well, we wanted to thank Hillary Clinton for sending us the book, but we thought it really wasn't nonfiction. It was misclassified. So we classified it as it should be appropriately fiction. And I also wrote her a little inscription, and I said, Dear Hillary, because of your inexcusable inability to secure and defend Benghazi, you should forever be precluded from holding our office. And I signed it. And I think we have several $1,000s bid now on eBay for that book.
All right. Keep us posted on what the final bid is on that. Senator Rand Paul, always a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.
So.